As a strategy of effective administration, the colonial government inaugurated the Ibadan Town Council in August 1897 with the sole aim of making use of indigenous chiefs of Ibadan in the administration of Ibadan land, which made Ibadan chiefs to function under the authority of British administration between 1897 and 1901. At that time, the Olubadan Council comprised of the Baale, Otun, Osi, Balogun, and 8 other high chiefs traditionally regarded as the most powerful in Ibadan land. In 1901, a number of changes were introduced as a result of the Native Council Ordinance initiated by the governor, Sir William McGregor. The Baale became the president of the council. Rulers of Ibadan were generally referred to as Baale until 1936, when the title of Olubadan was substituted for that of Baale. Also, in 1946, the Ibadan Native Authority made a declaration under the native law and custom regarding the appointment of a new Olubadan, that Balogun eventually ceased to be the only successor to the throne of Olubadan, and the civil line of Otun Olubadan also became eligible to occupy the exalted throne of Olubadan. That chieftaincy declaration was incorporated into the Chiefs Law of 1957, and it went further to treat the 11 members of the Olubadan. From Otun, which is the civil line, it consists of Otun Olubadan, Osi, Asepa, Ekerin, Ekarun Olubadan, and Iyalode, though Iyalode cannot become the Olubadan, as Iyalode is already a king among women in Ibadan land. The Balogun line, which is the military line, also consists of the Balogun, Otun Balogun, Osi, Asepa, Ekerin, Seriki, which has been faced off, and Ekarun Balogun of Ibadan land. Today, there are 22 ladder steps on the Otun Olubadan line, while there are 23 steps on the Balogun line. An elder of Ibadan, Baale Taye Ayorinde, spoke about the uniqueness of Ibadan ascension process.
The moment you are Jagun, that is when you start to be a member of Olubadan Advisory Council. You climb step by step. You climb on the Olubadan's line, which is known as Egbeagba, or you climb on the Balogun line. But the third line, which has been wiped up, happens to be Seriki line.
The Ibadan system is so unique that succession is not hereditary, but based on egalitarian peerage system that is in turn built upon a sophisticated yet interconnected association of family compounds, a network of relations embedded in nuclear and extended family units. In Ibadan, there is no class system, as each household is of royalty by right. Indeed, every chief from a Jagun upward is a potential Olubadan in sequential order of seniority, and by extension, every male child in Ibadan is a potential king. A professor of history from the University of Ibadan, Olutayo Adesina, said the ascension plan of Olubadan is the most organized plan in Black Africa, born out of experience and wisdom of the founding fathers of Ibadan.
Unlike other places where you have successional disputes, crises all over the place, Ibadan has not been known to suffer such problems. So whether you put somebody who is aged or extremely old in positions of authority, in the Yoruba traditional cosmology, it has to do with wisdom, it has to do with stability, it has to do with amity and friendship. And so, for those who think old people rule Ibadan, and so that might constitute a negative for the structure, I will say it came out of a lack of understanding of what the traditional institution is expected to be and the role it is expected to perform.
For a person to be entitled to move on either line, he must be recognized as the Magaji of his family compound. Thereafter, subject to vacancy, a Magaji gets promoted on his chosen chieftaincy line of either Otun or Balogun line, until by the grace of God he finally reaches the pinnacle after a long journey climbing 23 steps with alternating chances. It took Oba Yunusa Bankole Ogundipe Arapasowu I a total of 35 years from Jagun Balogun in 1964 and becoming Olubadan in 1999. Similarly, Oba Samuel Odulana Odugade I expended 35 years on the queue, having been installed Jagun Olubadan in 1972. The immediate past Olubadan, Oba Saliu Adetunji Aje Oguguniso I, also started the journey as Jagun Balogun in 1978 and was crowned after 38 years. The present yet to be crowned Olubadan, High Chief Mahood Lekan Balogun, has spent 32 years on the line, having become Jagun Olubadan in 1990, before Providence smiled on him as the Olubadan designate, waiting to be crowned. The Ekefa Olubadan, who is also a potential Olubadan, Senior Chief Lekan Alabi, who has also been on the Olubadan line for 20 years after his installation as Jagun in 2002, said the uniqueness of Olubadan ascendancy process should not be compromised.
Before, there was just one line that could ascend from the beginning to the top, or they used the title Pale, out of respect for Alafin. So they now said, since soldiers don't go to war anymore, we must also compensate the old people who kept peace at home. Ebeagba. I am on the Olubadan line, by the grace of God. It was originally called Ebeagba.
The ascendancy system of the throne of Olubadan has become a subject of research by the academics as the best ascension system without rancor, which doesn't leave the throne unoccupied for a long time, as we have in other towns and cities. The succession plan to the throne of Olubadan is so unique that it also amends itself, as many compounds in Ibadan land have embraced the idea of allowing a younger son of the family to become Magaji at tender age, which readily prepares such son for the throne of Olubadan at maturity and not necessarily at old age. Abiodun Akinkunle, BCS News.